kick it.
Hello, all of you slimesters.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to our last Collector's Corner of the season. I'm really excited about this one because every single time we have Russ on the show, it is always so awesome. I cannot wait. Russ actually messaged me earlier in the season and said, I have something very, very special, and I've got to, and it needs to be this season with our introduction of Splat Stanley this year or this season. So I'm excited. I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna throw it to Russ and let him take it away because I'm chomping at the bit. So, hi, this is Russ, everyone. In case you haven't seen, this is Russ. I'm shutting up now.
He's
Hi,
awesome.
Russ.
He blows our minds every time he's here.
Hi, guys. Thanks for... is this 5? Do I get my jacket? This is 5.
Yes, you get your
Five
jacket.
Timers Club.
Oh, 5 Timers Club. And what a 5 Timers Club we're going to have. Listen, I want to... First things first, can I just, hats off to whoever is doing your intro graphics? Oh, my God. They're so great. I was watching some of the Collector's Corners earlier today. I like to do my homework. And, I watch them all, but I wanted to go back and, just rewatch them so I could shout out some people. And man, that intro for Collector's Corner is just awesome. So all the intros are great, but I mean, what a game changer. I'm so proud to be on the last episode of this season's Collector's Corner because I think it's been a great season for it. We've had arguably the youngest Nickelodeon collector.
Yes.
We've had Ryan on a few times. And I want to shout out Carl. Carl's my boy. He always comes on, does a great job. That guy takes collecting so seriously,
Yes.
just as you guys take the podcast seriously. And that's what I super appreciate about it. So Carl and I have a great bond. And he's actually the only other person that knows about what I'm going to show you guys tonight. So, man, I'll just get into it. This is super exciting. So this is kind of like I've been collecting Nickelodeon for 30 plus years. And this is arguably the holy grail of my collection. There are certain things in collections that become holy grails. This is the holy grail. And it's just everything that Nickelodeon is amazing for. Only Nickelodeon could have Nickelodeon Studios or GAC or SNIC. And one of the great things that I think only Nickelodeon could have is Stickly. He could only exist. My best friend and yours, the guy that got us through summer. So, tonight, we're going to debut what I think is just an incredible Stickly collection. And this is a series of all screen-used props and sets and costumes. And just, if you know anything about Stick, you're gonna recognize so much stuff here. I want to shout out all the original prop builders. So we've got, Dave Jordan, Wavy Dave. We've got Tim LaGlass, and then of course we've got Rick Lyon, who I know is a friend of the show. These guys have helped me put this together along with some other collectors. So super, super exciting. So tonight we're going to show you guys, I got over 40 screen used sticks.
Oh
40.
my gosh.
Think of how massive that is. And we're not just talking like random, there's some crazy random ones in there, but some of the biggest ones that existed, I've got them. Full set pieces, you name it. So, I think jump into it. But before we do, I want to show you guys something that I found from my own collection. So, back when I was lucky enough to go through the Nickelodeon Studios tour, they had all these weird props that dotted that long. If you look at the old Nickelodeon Studios, you have that yellow staircase that goes up, and there's a set of doors on one side and a set of doors on the other side, and that was a big hallway. And as you went on the tour, you went down that hallway, and they just had random stuff there. And one of the random things they had right at the door was this incredibly crude, giant-made Stickly. And I've never seen a photo of it before, but I actually had one that I took. I don't think there's many more of these, but I wanted to show you guys what Nickelodeon just propped up in a corner. Let me see if I can bring that in close enough for you to look at.
Hey, look, it's Grandpa Frog.
It's
Yeah.
so
Kinda
terribly
is.
made.
Log, log, log.
To really look at it is to understand all the proportions are off. And I actually asked Rick about this, and he said that when they saw this, they were just mortified because it was just so off everything that they were doing.
Oh, Manny.
So,
Don't choke, Manny.
so guys, here's what we're gonna do. I wanted to set this up really cool, and I think if you're listening to this, I think this is definitely something you want to go to YouTube and watch as a real
Absolutely.
visual night. So that's going to be really exciting. So I wanted to take you guys back 27 years now. So the year is now 1998, and we are traveling back to Mom's house. And this is why we've got two things set up here. So we are actually going to do this from
Oh, no.
Mom's
God.
house. So this is
That's-
the actual Mom's house from Sticks Stuck. As you know, as you've seen, it has all the parts in it. The fireplace even works.
Ah,
So
Oh,
Get out.
yay.
it still lights up. There's a little light behind here that just kind of lights it up.
Nice.
What's really fun about this, all these pieces are of course movable, and all the little, it's all, everything framed. So this is the original piece, and you saw this in the Stuck special. Now what's neat is that a lot of the times after the special, they would use this for little vignettes with specifically Mom. So this is Mom's chair.
She would tell the riddles and all that stuff. Yeah.
And you can see the little hole cut out for the stick. So hold on, let me get this correctly.
Yeah.
And what was really fun is they would call those segments Mom's Corner, and this is the cross stitch from Mom's Corner that would actually go up. So Mom would come on and she would drape herself in this tiny little, shawl or blanket, and we would have Mom's Corner. And this was after, of course, the stick set. So what a beautiful way to start. And this is what we're going to use for tonight's show. I'm going to place all the sticks against this wonderful backdrop. So they will look in size with their world, and we'll go from there. So
hang before you go on.
Yeah.
Of course, I told you this, Russ, but I think it's so timely that we are starting the season and ending the season with Stickly because
Stickly.
the season premiere was doing our episode review and interview of Stuck with a lot of the cast and crew, including Rick Lyon.
Totally.
But what I thought was funny and cool, which I told Russ this already, but Rick had just found. He was going to be on the episode and give us an interview, and he was going through his stuff and found this set. And I was like, "Oh man, this is awesome, dude! This is so awesome. Can you hold on to this for just a few days?" Because he was selling it, and he still had it at his house. And said, "No, I can't hold on to it for a couple days," because I was hoping that he could at least show it in the episode. And he said, "No, I can't. I've got to send it. It's already boxed." I'm like, crap. And then lo and behold, it was going to Russ.
That's awesome.
Who inevitably was going to show us anyway.
That's great, right?
You know what's even funny too is like that day we were doing the recording of the Stuck episode. That was the very first time we utilized Splat Stanley because I did the original set, and then that very night we did the Stuck review. So it's hilarious how all those things lined up.
They all came together. So some interesting things.
February 13th. Yeah, that was the day.
So this is one of the only major pieces of set that exists. There was another small front door set that also existed that Rick sold, and he did say the staircase set was completely destroyed. So it's smashed, unfortunately, as many things go. But it's pretty amazing that this existed, considering it has everything from Mom's chair to the pictures in the background here. And some of these pictures are actually quite hilarious. I mean, when you really get a close-up look of these, I mean, how amazing is that?
That's
right?
terrific.
So, so let's get into the figures. Let's get into the meat of it. But I do have some incredible surprises along the way. Things that I think you guys are not even, you guys are just gonna be like, oh my God, how does this still exist? So we're gonna start with the basics here. But this is actually a bare bones screen used Stickly. And there he is, not a reproduction, but an absolute bare bones, totally original. He's got a little bit of glue on the bottom. You can't really probably make it out here, but this is it. This is what he looked like. This is the original guy.
The genuine article.
The genuine article. And what's interesting is I only have one of him like that. I have others with other poses you're going to see, but you're going to see some really cool stuff. So from this wonderful special, we did get some really cool sticks. And one of them is arguably one of my favorites, and that is Stick in the Icicle, half melted.
Nice!
How
There
great is this? How incredible is he in his half melted sort of, way? And it's kind of tarnished a little. To see it in person is to see that it's actually yellowing a bit. So pretty fun stuff here. Bare bones stick, and then of course we've got the ice cube stick from Stick Stock. Now there were
his
three
resin straight jacket.
So there were three of these guys: a full one, and then this one, and then like a very small melted one. And you can actually, you guys can't see it, but I can see some of the water and the goop that kind of like crystallized and dried because they wanted to make it look drippy. So pretty interesting piece from Rick. So moving on, I'm going to start with some originals here. Now, the first builder was Wavy Dave, as we know, and he came out of the gate. He was the first guy to do stick, and you can really tell the quality of the sticks as they go on, get better and better because they just got a bigger budget, more material to work with, higher, production value. So the first ones are almost crude. But I love them. I love them so much. So this is arguably the oldest one I have. And for some reason, actually, you know what? I want to point out one thing. I know you guys talked about this, but it really is true. There's so little footage of Stickly that exists. When you really start to dive into what's out there, there's very little. He was just not meant to be recorded. He was, interstitials and commercial breaks, all the things you would either tape over or just take for granted. He was 30 seconds here, 10 seconds there. And so little of it exists. And so much of this, I just have the prop, but we don't have the video to support it. Or we do have, we have great memories of it, but no video to support it. So it's kind of an interesting thing to see these great props and nothing to really back it up. But that's just the way it goes. I'm sure there's like some warehouse somewhere with all these Betamax tapes with everything on it. But we just have what YouTube has. So
you can barely find the 95 version of Nick in the Afternoon. You can barely find that version.
From that version is some really weird bungee jump stick. And as you can see, he is kind of covered. He's got a weird little helmet on.
I know what that was for.
And what was this for?
That was for the premiere of, I think, season 2 of Guts. Because he was doing like the elastic cords, and he had the helmet, and it wasn't really a promo for Nick in the Afternoon. They were using him for the promo of Guts.
Wow,
that's very, very interesting. Well, I appreciate this is why it's great to come on the show, because we all kind of collectively come together and find these things. So this is built by Dave Jordan, and it's just really, what's really interesting, the rudimentary of it is everything's built of clay. And you kind of see that in the first production pieces. So you see that again here with this sort of army version of Stickly, and he's got like a little hat on and a little gun, and his little hat comes off, and what's interesting is he's pissed off. He's got these little mad eyebrows, and this is the only pissed off stick I have, and he's also the only stick I have that has these really like funky eyebrows. So an interesting thing, and the little hat goes on him, and there he is, all mad about being in the army, I guess.
no, he's Stick. He's a drill sergeant, so he's like, "Hey, come down, give me 5."
He's in the med bay. He's the tongue depressor.
Now, I demand you watch Rugrats now.
This next one is, in that it's Halloween themed. and arguably really crude. And you can totally see what it is. But what's interesting is later we'll get to the 2011 reboot version of this and how incredibly refined it became. So this is from Stick's first Halloween. This is him as Jason.
Oh my god!
Incredibly, almost
His eyes are on the
frightening.
outside of the mask. Oh my god!
His eyes are outside of the mask. The whole thing is just wild, and so it's just like a big blob of a mask stuck on the front here. And you can see that's really what it is, because if you turn it around, you can really see that it's just like they just stuck it right on. And he's undeniably Jason. And I think back then they were a little more worried about copyright infringement, so they kind of really steered away from, Yeah. But interestingly enough, these are the three from Wavy Dave, and they're crude, and I love them because of how crude they actually are. As we move on, we come into the Tim LaGlass and Rick era, which starts to bring in just a more refinement to Stick. And so we have this Stick who was traveling and is not too happy, but he's got a camera and a bit of a frown and a little Hawaiian sort of lei going on, and his little Hawaiian shirt. But I mean, it's interesting to get the Sticks with the different facial expressions, right?
Yeah. I'm amazed they got the eyes to stick like that.
And then, of course, we move on to this magician Stick, which I actually really love. I love this magician Stick. And the top hat was clearly already made for something, who knows what. But, these, again, very early Sticks, and we start to see Stick kind of get out of his phase and get into more of like, he can do anything. Now he's a magician, and you're going to see as we go on, he becomes more and more different things. He's so cute, though.
He's like Barbie. He could be anything.
He can be anything. Now, speaking of that hat, I want to show you guys something really interesting here. There was a Christmas special, and for some reason they needed a bunch of singing Sticks, and that's where these guys kind of come into play, and they all sort of dance and sing.
Oh my gosh!
And it's and we have the whole lot of them actually, which is 10 of these guys, and they all I don't know, kind of. And you'll see again, it's the same hat as the magician Stick, but Alex is very perplexed.
The green eyes.
I was trying to think of what it was for, because I thought maybe initially it could have been part of the ending of the Hanukkah special with Mark Wiener, but I don't think that was it. I'm trying to,
it could be.
I'm trying to figure out where that went with.
I was told it was part of a holiday special of some sort. Mm-hmm. They're obviously all sort of background, almost carolers, but not really. So,
Manny, do you think that was at the end of the election special, or not the election special, the New Year special? Because they had that big song and dance at the end.
They did, but no, that I would have remembered that for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna think on that.
I'm assuming maybe it was like a Nickelodeon was probably doing maybe a Christmas Carol or something, or maybe that was the background, because it looks like it would be a background object that they would use. So.
Agreed. And it's kind of got that, the idea behind
I love the way that's operated. That's
yeah, it's really cool. It's actually really neat how it's operated, right? They kind of all like dance and sort of sing. You know what I mean? It could literally be that, though. So, but very cool. Very, very cool. I will say, when I said I had 40 Sticks, I did kind of cheat and counted all of them as 10. So really, count them as 10, count them as 1. But these guys are pretty fun.
Absolutely.
That's still 5 Sticks right there.
I want to do something like that for sure.
I'm with you. Okay, so listen. Dick Stickley is not nothing if he isn't someone who is accompanied by friends and family. So there is a whole cast of characters outside of Stick, as we know. And what's really cool about that is a lot of those characters were shown in the Thanksgiving nonstop Nicktoons weekend. And so we have some of those characters here tonight. And in fact, one of my favorite Sticks is in there, but I'm going to save him to the end. So first things first, we have Uncle Morty, who you may recall from the Nonstop Nicktoons weekend. Now,
Wow.
interestingly enough, Uncle Morty, his name actually is said in one of the episodes. We know his name's Uncle Morty, and he kind of looks like he's not allowed to go 500 feet within a school zone. You know what I mean? He's kind of got an interesting look to him. He's just,
He does.
I don't think Uncle Morty's invited to a lot of Thanksgivings, but I do love him.
He keeps to himself. You know, the less you talk to him, the better. It's fine.
So from that same special, you know, Stick, as we learn, has two brothers. He has a younger brother and an older brother. And what's really cool is here we have his younger brother, Woodchip.
Oh,
And I just
I like
love
his
this
sideways
guy with
smile.
Yeah,
his little
smirk.
sideways smile, his little bangs, his little sideways cap. You know, he's kind of cool and funky, and
Yeah.
he's doing his thing. And then, of course, last but not least, would be his older brother. Now, what's interesting about his older brother, Would Not, is he looks just like Stick, as we know, is from the special. But this is a really special one because from that same weekend, we learned that Would Not had a little tiny ventriloquist dummy who is attached to him, and this is arguably my favorite of all the Sticks.
Oh my god.
How amazing
I love
is,
that.
is
I can't.
this?
I can't.
And you know what? You know what's interesting? If I this is like if I bring the original Stick in, this is like the family is back together for the first time in like how many years? So what's really cool is a lot of these guys are actually on YouTube clips right now, especially the guy with the little dummy here with his brother Would Not with the dummy. I just love it. I love the little dummy. It's like my favorite little piece.
That's cool.
Isn't it wild? Isn't it wild? So it's just a little shaved down Stick, and yeah,
Oh my
he
God.
he does the ventriloquist thing well. So
I love that so much.
you know what's
You
also
can't see
really
his lips
cool.
moving.
Yeah.
You can't see his lips moving.
By the living dummy. Oh no.
So look, Stick didn't just have family; he had friends. Specifically, he had a girlfriend who had her own career as well. Holly Bwood was her name, and I think you guys recall her well. And there were many versions of Holly Bwood. She had a downdo, she had an updo, she changed colors of her updo. And she interviewed a lot of famous people. She interviewed Stevie Wonder. She interviewed Rosie O'Donnell. She interviewed just a whole plethora of people, as did Stick. We know he interviewed Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Keenan and Kel, of course, and so on and so forth. But Holly Bwood was the real deal. And what's really fun is that we have every single version of her.
Really?
I have them
Wow.
all. So I'm going to start with the most famous, the most recognized one, of course.
Yeah.
Her beeper's on and her hair looks good.
Everything is good.
Yes.
She's a little worse for wear from the back. Hey, listen, she looks great. All original. Every piece is there. Very oddly heavy. But this is the one that most people remember. This is the Holly Bwood that is, in the posters, in the any of the big time sort of specials. This one interviewed, Stevie Wonder, Rosie O'Donnell. This is the Holly Bwood that did all the big stuff. And so what's really interesting is how incredibly screen matched this is. Her hair is just like strands, like noodles almost, and you can just match it so perfectly from everything. But because for one reason or another, they had to change her hair. I think it was just it kept breaking. And so they wanted to go with something that would last a little longer. So they moved her to the second version, which is the updo. And the updo version, not as famous, but definitely the next kind of as we got older and more into it. And then for one reason or another, we stay updo, but she goes and dyes it orange. And so these are the three that existed.
Wow.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Were those the 10 singing sticks? Are they from the Holly Bwood intro? Because I remember like, it's
Oh.
Hollywood. And she's like, it's Holly Bwood. And then I remember
Very well
vaguely
could
Oh
be.
my
some
God.
chorus in the background. I
You
don't
could
know
be
if it's
right.
those sticks or
You
not. I tried looking for it online. Can't find it off the bat.
you might be right.
Might be a
You
false
might be right.
memory,
You might
but
be
I wanted to
right.
throw that out there in case somebody else knows. Let us know in the
I
comments.
think, yeah, please let us know in the
Yeah,
comments if
please.
anybody has any idea of some of these and can fill in some of the gaps here, because even the puppeteers themselves were unable to fill in a lot of the gaps. And you have to imagine they made thousands of
Yeah,
little
they made a
vignettes.
lot.
And so a lot of them. And these guys were doing a lot of stuff. They were working Allegra's Window. They were working Wienerville. They were doing stuff with Jim Henson. I mean, they were all over the place. So, to assume they remember these things. But the interesting thing is, of everything Stickly here, Holly Bwood might arguably be one of the more famous pieces here. The thing that sticks out. I think she just looked so odd. And I think she was featured on so many things. And like, if you go through old Nickelodeon magazines, she's actually featured more than Stick is, because she does interviews with people in the magazines. And it's really specifically the middle one here that everyone remembers. So that to me is a really, really cool piece of sort of Nickelodeon history. I just love her. I think she's great. And, I'm glad to bring the couple back together again, if you will. They're no longer apart. They are now, although I keep my eye on them, no little baby sticks.
No rubbing sticks out
No little splitters.
No little toothpicks.
No little
no.
splitters.
there.
No little toothpicks. That's perfect.
Yeah, no little baby
Okay,
toothpicks.
I'm gonna mix it up a little. I'm gonna show you guys some really fun kind of set pieces that I think not as big as mom here, but as mom's house, but stuff I think you guys are gonna recognize. So I really love this. One of the more famous pieces for Stick is his talk show set. And that is gone. It just doesn't exist anymore. It's not something, even the 2000 version that was made is not. But what's interesting is, and you can find clips of this online, they used to go in behind, and his sister, Twiggy, she worked in behind, and she had a desk, and there was a payphone on the wall. And this is the desk and the payphone and a little bag, her lunch, I guess. And what I love about it is it actually has the Nick in the Afternoon logo. And so this is the desk and the payphone. And this hung on the wall. This payphone hung on the wall, and this little desk sat back there, and she worked at it. And
Wow.
and on the inside it just says Twiggy's desk. And just a cool little prop that has that Nick in the Afternoon logo. And there's so few things that have that logo on it.
Yeah.
So I just really like this. This was like just a little payphone they found somewhere, and they just stuck it on the wall. And
Can I see it a
now
little
it's become
closer?
fun. Yeah,
Please?
of course. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my God, look at that detail.
And it's actually like it comes off, and it's got a little spot in the back for batteries. So you can there are batteries with it, and you can put batteries in, and it's kind of like a fridge magnet, and like you can push it down. And I guess I haven't tried it, but I guess it rings or it does something. But Manny, I'll set it up and I'll try it for you so you can know what happens.
I remember
Call
those.
collect.
I forgot all about that because my old children's pastor, he had a toilet magnet with a button on it, and the seat lifted up, and you'd put the seat all the way up, and it would push and make a flush sound effect. So yeah, they did a whole series of little miniature things like that you'd push, and they'd make the sound for the appropriate thing.
And what's interesting is you see we're starting to get into the era of sticks and Stickly props and stuff, where it's like if they could just buy something miniature that worked, it was so much easier than building it, right? So why wouldn't you? So that's really, really fun. That's really, really fun. I like that. Getting back to Stick himself. So what we're gonna do is Stick, he needs to work out. He's gonna have to go for a jog for a little bit. So while he does that, and this is actually a really fun piece, he's got a little headband on, and he's got his little jogger suit, and he's kind of out of breath there. While he does this, we're gonna jump forward into 2011 into the reboot. I'm going to start to show you guys some really fun reboot pieces. So 2011, the 90s are all that, comes back, and they bring back Stickly, and he is super adult. super adult humor. We're talking two girls, one cup jokes. We're talking like very honestly inappropriate for Stick, and I'm not entirely sure it's what adult audiences wanted, but it does bring us some of the best quality built Sticklys, because now we're so many years later and we can just do more and we have more and we, so I've got a couple really cool trios here, and some of them are really hilarious, but I'm going to show you the really great ones first. So remember this original Jason. So here, let me bring this original Jason back into frame. So we remember this guy, this ugly kind of, This is what we've evolved to now for the remake. Way better.
Yeah.
I mean, how incredible is this, right? Even the back is good. So we've got this wonderful Jason remake, and this was for the October 2011 sort of holiday, Halloween special, and followed by a zombie Stick, who's a lot of fun.
I love that.
A lot of fun. And then another one that I absolutely love, which is a mummy Stick. He is just great. So this little trio of 2011 horror Sticks, if you will, beautiful work. This is all done by Rick. Just incredible work by him. And again, we see it in contrast to those original crude ones where, this first one probably took 20 minutes, whereas this one probably took, hours. So just love them, though. Just absolutely adore these guys. And, a lot of the footage of the 2011 stuff is available for those who want to check it out. Now, I will say it is super drastically different. So if it's your first experience in the Stickly,
well, it was the 90s kids growing up, that's what they were shooting for.
Let's
yeah.
Well, let's stick with the 2011. Oh boy, here we go. This is arguably the most adult version of what we're going to get into tonight. So we have the situation, which is of course, Mike,
that one.
Mike the Situation. But what would Mike the Situation be if he didn't have a set of very questionable groupies? So, they're very, Listen, you're not bringing these ones home to Thanksgiving dinner. In fact, even I'm almost insulted by these ones.
So, sorry, that's great. That is so great. Oh my god, that's funny.
How do you make a stick an hourglass figure? How do you give a stick an hourglass figure? How do you
use an ice cream spoon or something?
I know.
And what's interesting is if you look at Twiggy, they really are basically built off the Twiggy sort of build, only with extra features, which I think we understand.
I mean,
where I'm getting at. But...
Alex, on our show, that's what the grandma's made out of. So yeah.
So and if for whatever reason, if Mike the Situation is tuning in and watching, he can gladly have the groupies. They're all his.
Gosh.
So So that's.
I know he looks at Stick over there and he's like, "That's a situation right there." He doesn't want to mess with Stick.
There's really no question though who this is. I mean, if you had to guess,
it is a situation. Yeah,
it really is. They did a really good job of it.
What does his label on the bottom say?
Stickuation.
Stickuation. There it is.
Stickuation. So now staying relevant, what's really interesting though is this is also a bit of a time warp, because I'm going to show you three more here. These are all singers, and what's interesting is that it makes sense. When you think 2011, you think like what was big going on right then. So two people who had a resurge. First was Flavor Flav.
Oh,
so
no.
he of course had a little resurge, and then it wasn't 2011 if you weren't getting Rickrolled.
Yeah. Nice. I'm so happy you have that.
And he comes with his little microphone. So he's got his little mic to sing into. And
I'm gonna
then
stick
who?
you up.
That's
Does it say
right.
stick rolled on the bottom? Please tell me it. Or stick
It
Astley.
says Stick Astley.
Called it!
And then, it actually took me a minute to realize this. And I had to ask Rick, but we have Lady Gaga in her meat dress.
Oh, cool. Wow.
And she's got little dyes in her hair, and yeah, very interesting. So very interesting.
I love how there's a steak on her head.
There's a piece of steak on her head, and
It's a T-bone steak on her head.
Yeah.
Oh, and what's funny as you start to look at the 2000, sticks, the reboot sticks, you realize they're more a time capsule of that time, as opposed to all the original sticks were just like, make them a chef, make them this, make them, make them a scuba diver. These ones are like, no, who's popular right now? Make him based on that. So they were all parodies of something. And in that sense, they're so different, and I love them. So, here's to the 2011 reboot, which unfortunately didn't last, and it's too bad because it really could have brought Stick back into the mainstream. So now, before I move on to the next prop piece, actually, no, I'm going to do the next prop piece right now. So one thing that was really fun is Stick would go around all summer, and he would be at the beach. And when he was at the beach, he would bring his suitcase, and he would also bring a little sign. And you can see many vignettes with this, where there's this Nick in the Afternoon sign and his little suitcase full of literally everything that he packs with him. And if you're wondering, what does he pack? He has a rubber ducky inflatable. He has a little dinosaur. He has a blue ball that is arguably the size of him. He has a teddy bear. He has a purple dino and a sand pail and his fireman's hat. He's got a bunch of crap. I mean, Stick really packs terribly. I'll be honest with you. I don't know where he thought he was going that day, but this I love. This is great. So this is just, you can actually find many scenes of this. It's kind of buried in the sand, and it's just, again, something with the Nick in the Afternoon logo on it. You just never see that. So, for me, this is like really holy grail type stuff because, there's it. They built one, and that was it. And the fact that it still exists like 30 years later is just wild. So, and this is also his suitcase that he travels with. Any of the shows that he did traveling, you can take all this stuff out, fold it up, and it's his little suitcase. So it's
that's cool.
Yeah, kind of fun. A lot of fun. So he wasn't just relegated to his little vignettes. There was at a time a very large promotion between Stickly and Kraft products. He had the Nick in the Afternoon
Sheep for a Day sweepstakes.
Yes. And to help him with that,
yes,
were two of these wonderful guys.
Yes.
So there was a whole plethora of popsicles, and these are two of them. And they have tarnished in some color over the years, but they are still, they're kind of this weird wax. They're almost like a sticky when you feel them, but pretty amazing. So these guys are still attached to their sort of sticks that they would, make them jump and dance around. Actually, this is pretty good. It's kind of how they look.
Yeah.
But who needs Rick? I got me. So pretty fun though. Pretty amazing that these things still last. Pretty amazing that Rick had them actually.
Yes.
And it was funny. It was interesting in putting all this together with Rick and going through it. I was just watching tons and tons and tons of clips of Stickly. And I would just pause and freeze frame and circle. Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And 9 out of 10 things he wouldn't have, but then he'd have that one thing, and you couldn't believe it still existed. And so, and the same with Tim when we put some of this together was amazing. And there's stuff that they still have that I haven't, acquired off them. And so if you're looking to collect, there's still stuff out there. But there's one thing I'm going to show you guys right now before we get into my final sort of 6 sticks, which are my favorite sticks of them all, and then the big sort of finale. I want to show you guys something that's really, really cool. This is totally original. This is the only reproduction stick that I have, but you'll see why. But the piece itself is original, and this is really cool that this still exists.
Yeah.
There it is.
Nice.
How great
Nice.
is this?
That's
From you,
great.
That's not the grand finale, really?
That is not the grand finale. And
Wow,
you'll
what's
understand
coming?
why.
What is
But
coming?
how incredible is this, right? So
That's
just
awesome.
Like that's
you
the
know,
original
it's
one
like-
from Florida, right?
yeah,
Wow.
that's it. So this is the it's basically like a yoga mat cut and painted with just like crude letters kind of cut out. And then this is a reproduction stick. I just don't use my real stick on it, but for the purposes of this, you can understand why. And but it's just great, right? You Picnic was such a big. I think it was like one of the first big things that Sticklys started to really kind of host. And he had a bunch of versions of it. He had the spinner, and he had all sorts of different things. But this is the one. And then the TV would drop down and beside it, which the TV doesn't exist anymore. I certainly asked. But how lovely is this, right? You Picnic. Love it. Love it. So let's jump into a couple little interesting prop pieces. I want to show you guys some really cool stuff here. So we have, I'm going to put this on Stick's head here. This is, as seen in many of his specials, this is his little sleeping cap that he wears. What a cute little cap. And it's, you can see it on, I think on Stuck, and I think in Oh Brother. But ultimately, he sleeps like Ebenezer Scrooge with one of these things. I don't know if it really helps people. A lot of people slept in these things back. Maybe we should bring these things back because they're evidently they help you sleep. A couple other little fun.
What's next? Holding a candle to bed and just like, all right, good night.
I agree. It's the wildest thing, but as we've seen, everybody wore them. So a fun little bowling shoe, a single shoe that Stick fits into. Actually, here, you know what? For fun, let's put a stick in it. Take the original stick here and see if look at that. He fits perfectly right into the shoe. And what would be this little bowling shoe? I'll put him back in Mom's house. What would he be if he didn't have his little bowling bag here? So you got a little bowling bag, and it does have a little bowling ball inside. And the bowling ball, somewhere on it says lion.
Nice.
A little Easter egg to.
But he doesn't have hands, so how does he bowl?
Yeah.
With his
Stick,
face.
you don't have hands.
You're getting deep with the questions. Look, I don't make the rules. I just play with Stick. Another fun little thing we have is a little life preserver vest, and I don't know which stick this went on, but it's super cute, and I love that I have it. But I will show you. We do have a stick that it could have been used with. So, Alex, you look like you may have the answer to this, though.
That might have been on Oh Brother, because I seem to recall that he was in a boat.
It could be. I'm good. You know what? Now I'm gonna go back and check that. It absolutely could be from Oh Brother. That would be great. That would any riddle I can solve here. Look out, guys. This is the last piece of wardrobe I'm going to show you today, and I think it's actually my favorite piece. And it is from the Stump Stick. And you know what happened when we didn't stump him? He unfortunately got the dunce cap. So how great is that this still exists, and it's just a little piece of paper. And the fact that it exists, I mean, Rick was like, I can't believe you're asking for that. I can't believe I found it. I mean, all the great pieces that are gone, and he has this still. So the dunce cap still exists.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to my last sticks, and I'm gonna show them to you in a particular order, going from the least famous to the most famous, and then I'm gonna show the grand finale, which is a really exciting piece. These are some sticks that I think it's just ingrained in your memory. Not this one particularly. I just happen to love this one. I just love his costume. This is a sort of a Captain Highliner rainy day, wearing his, his
Captain
raincoat
Bob.
I was
stick,
just gonna say
Captain
Captain
Bob,
Bob.
Tidal wave.
and I love him. I absolutely adore him. He's just like so cute for Stick.
Oh yeah.
So next we have one of the most technically put together sticks. Now, in the end, as Sticklys started to come to an end, there were two things that they did really big. And what's crazy is there's no footage of it. First is they sent Stick to camp for like a month, and everything filmed was at camp, and they put a ton of production value into him being at camp. You can't find anything of it, but it was a huge, huge part of Stick's world towards the end. And Rick remembers just how much they put into this and having to go to these camps and just the amount of work, because they're outside of a studio. And anyways, this stick is just one of my favorites, and I hope one day we find video of him. But he is ready for camp. He has a full sort of canteen going on. He's got a full backpack and his little sleeping bag. He's got a map, which is an actual map that I really should unroll one day and see where it's a map of, because he's got his little camera. How cute is this stick? Is this not like one of the best designed costume sticks?
I love everything on it. I mean, even the green eyes is insane too.
I was gonna say, why are his eyes green? Was
Yeah.
that Stick, or was that somebody else who was just hiking in the area?
It was Stick. It was genuinely Stick, and for whatever reason, he's got green eyes. What's interesting
Could
is
be
that
night vision, I guess.
their eyes did mostly they were always red, but every once in a while you do find one with a different color. He's the only green-eyed Stick I have. So interestingly enough, I would love to find some video on him. But I absolutely love his costume. It's just so wonderful.
Oh yeah, that detail's amazing. I love that camera around his neck too. That is so
Great,
cool.
isn't it great?
Absolutely.
So great. Now, this is one you may recognize, and there are some clips out there. And this is, I think Stick at his best. We have Chef Stick, and he is just great. There's so many clips of him. They took him around. They put him in kitchens. He just looked great in a kitchen because he looked so small compared to everything. And you can find a clip online of him with like salt and pepper shakers, and they're like the size of him. And it's just awesome. It's just super awesome. Particular order are these final three, but I do think there may be a bit of an order from what people kind of do and don't remember. So I'm gonna go in what I think, but this is pretty big. So the first is Stick Witness News, the Stick newsman himself. He still exists. This is the original version. As the time went on, they added the tie and the sort of collar, but a lot of the clips you'll see are without that. But this is the original guy. This is him. He did all the Stick Witness News segments. So definitely, and that whole Stick Witness News set, gone.
Oh.
Do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Now, as we get into the later seasons of Stick, they built an entire Sticktropolis, a whole city. And there's actually a photo, like a picture of Rick and Tim working on this city.
Yeah.
And they, Super Stick was a big deal. And there's a lot of clips of Super Stick, but there was only one made, and this is him right here. This is Super Stick himself.
Yes. Yes.
So he definitely survived. He looks great. His cape is curling in a little bit. And then last but not least, another favorite, one that almost needs no explanation. I'm not even going to say, I'm just going to show it. I think you guys are going to know it right away. The Dipper himself. Himself. He is here. He is ready. And he is built, you can actually see on the back, this little extra piece of wood here. Now, what's interesting about that is they could just detach the bottom of him and put a new piece of wood, so that they didn't have to rebuild the stick every time. So that's how he's built. He's built.
I was just going to ask if he's stained with anything, or if they.
So he is not stained with anything that I can really tell. So, ta-da! That's the most famous of the sticks, and we have one last grand piece. But before I get to it, I mean, how cool is this? How amazing is it that these still exist? All these great guys. It's like seeing your best friends again, but almost for the first time. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I
So
mean,
Such
I'm
good
floored.
condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's amazing. So I love it. Great condition. I've had the luxury of cleaning some of them up and putting them in new displays and really, displaying them quite nicely. And so I'm just super, super, super excited that I could showcase them here with you guys. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to take these down because I actually need to change this entire set out for the final piece. So there is one last grand finale, and I think it's as recognizable and as memorable as anything you've seen tonight. It's going to be, I was thinking to myself, if you love Stickly, this is going to be quite the episode for you. But if you do not love Stickly, well, I think you're going to have a new appreciation of it, because who doesn't love, someone who hunts down things and loves them? I hope this brings new love to potentially either non-Stickly fans or people who just don't know a lot about them.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to move Mom's set out of here. And we're going to bring in the final set piece. And I'm going to try and not have it be displayed. There we go. I'm going over and above. And I'm going to put the little thing on there. You may be able to.
I see it.
You ready for this, folks?
Uh-oh.
I don't know how this is going to show, but here we go.
Oh.
Ta-da!
Oh my God.
We have the actual.
I was just mimicking that earlier.
Everything that sort of remains. She's a little crumpled. She's seen a little better days, but this is that kind of genie Sardo stick. I think Rick called him, and he's the original guy. And I think this is arguably one of the more famous ones as well, because if you remember, they always cut back to showing him like through the looking glass.
Yeah.
They always had that kind of thing about him. And so pretty amazing set piece.
Absolutely.
Just something beautiful that is so lovely that it still exists. So folks, there you have it. You have 40 plus screen used sticks spanning everything from the original series through to the 2011. You have the You Pick Nick signs. You have just different wacky signage and little costumes and hats and moms and this sort of genie in a bottle thing. And look, I love Nickelodeon, and I love it when it's at its best. And I think Stickly is up there for in and amongst its best. You can't.
Oh yeah.
You almost can't argue that. It's as good as Nickelodeon Studios or the concept of like Snick or Gak, or it could only exist with Nickelodeon, and it could only exist in that 90s timeline. And if you were a kid and if you got it, you got it. And if you were an adult, it was just a popsicle stick with eyes and you didn't get it. Or slime was just something gross and it made a mess. Or, Snick, you didn't understand what this is what Nickelodeon does best, and I feel so blessed to have this collection in my possession. And I'm really going to treasure this and just display it nicely. And I want to thank you guys. Your podcast is so great, and I listen to every episode. I love it, and more importantly, I love that you guys find other collectors. I love knowing there's other people out there doing this. I feel privileged to be able to. I think I may have started the year and ended the season. I don't know if I bookended it in terms of collectors' corners. I think I might have. Maybe no.
I don't think you were in this season. I think you were on the tail end of
I
last
did,
season.
No?
Because
we wrapped it up in January. You were on it January.
Right.
I remember that.
That's
it was
right.
the tail end of last season. I think you ended last season and ended this season.
Maybe that's my thing. Well, what's interesting is I'm already gearing up because I always got to try and go big. I don't know if I can ever go bigger than this. I don't know if I can ever do better than this.
Never say never.
You'll find
Did you
a
know
way.
you'd have this?
Yeah.
Did you know you'd have the stick collection?
I've been 25 years. I've been hunting one. I just wanted one. I knew it existed. I just wanted one. And suddenly the floodgates broke open, and I was able to piece all of this together and gather it all. And and I'm really blessed. And it took, all the puppeteers and a couple other collectors and just, a lot to put it together. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to debut it with you guys.
Well, I'm
Thank
excited
you.
that you
Well,
took the
thank
time to
you
do
for-
that.
Yes.
Seriously, that's
Uh,
amazing.
I do want to comment, in Tim Lagasse probably will not want to part with it because it's Stickly, and he was a big part of that, obviously. But when we did the Allegra's Window episode with him, and he was filming in his room, as he called it, his head space just spewed out all over the walls, with full of things that meant something to him, and in his
I know where you're going with this.
over in the corner, there was the apparatus that he would use to dip stick. And that's
Correct.
probably the one that he won't want to get rid of. And I understand that, but I did get a closer look at it, and I thought it was pretty funny because it was the hook itself was a Hot Wheels hook. Because I played with Hot Wheels when I was a kid, and I still have them. And it was that hook that you would put on top of a door and then screw it in and then put the track in top of it. And that's what the apparatus was. It was that hook. They
Yeah.
just added stuff to it and painted
Yeah.
over it. But it was really cool to see. So you can see that if
yeah.
you watch our Allegra's Window episode. You can see it in the background just barely, but it's there.
So I did see that piece. I spoke to him about it. We couldn't quite land on a deal for it, but maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Well, thank you so much, Russ, for sharing all this with us. This is so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I love this.
Thank
So
you.
cool.
Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And next time I will. Next time I promise to bring a little more variety. This was just, listen, I had to debut it, and I wanted to get it all out there. So, but yeah, next time I come back, I'll really do some cool variety. We'll make it really interesting.
Oh, I'm excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
So, as always, where can people follow you if they want to follow you?
So you can follow me on Instagram, Nickelodeon_collector.
And if you guys, I've started to add this tag at the end of every Collector's Corner. If you know another collector, it does not have to be Nickelodeon, just nostalgia, because we're all about that. Because stuff like this is so awesome, and it doesn't have to be screen use stuff. Just if you're passionate about something and that's something that's nostalgic, whether it be Nickelodeon or Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles or something, let us know.
Space Ghost.
We want to see it. Yeah, Space Ghost. We had a whole episode where Manny was sharing his Space Ghost stuff. So, yes, please, we want to showcase what you guys have. If you're in the comment section and you know somebody, tag them. Please send them our way. We want to have some new ones. I think we actually got somebody who's interested that we just got in touch with not too long ago, and I'm excited to see what this person has. We'll try to work something out next season.
Yeah.
But again, as always, Russ, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for saving this for us. You didn't have to do that. We didn't ask you to do that, but you did that, and it means a lot to me. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best.
All right. Well, and I believe this is the last full episode of the season, because next week is our season overview. So until our next Collector's Corner, yeah, it absolutely is. This is we are wrapping the season up. So until next season, which is just a couple weeks away, we'll stick you later.
Ew.
This episode was recorded at Splat Studios, in virtual home studios, though none in Florida.